Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
Pretty good. We haven't podded in weeks, 3 weeks now, something like that.
This might be like our longest stretch without a pod.
Yeah,
It's good to get back to it, I think.
difficult times. The world is world's on its head right now.
Yeah, we had a couple false starts where we met at our usual time, and just like it became clear within a minute or two, is like neither of us is in the right headspace to talk about business right now.
Yeah, yep.
It's pretty stressful at the moment, but
Yeah, it really is.
but we think we can get through it today.
I think so.
I'm ready.
Yep.
So we're back to the office now.
Are you?
Yeah.
All right. Tuple office, Tuple HQ is open.
Tuple HQ, yeah. Still minimal. Like Joel and Spencer are some of the only people I actually see. To me, the trade-offs there are worth it. To us, I guess we've decided that it's worth the additional risk to be able to be with each other. Man, it's, as an extrovert, it is very nice. I'm a big fan.
Yeah. Have you done anything special now that you're back in the same room together that you weren't able to do remotely?
Other than video games, not really.
Well, that's something.
Yeah, but like the other day we got lunch and then ate it outside and ended up like talking for like an hour afterwards. And that is the kind of like impromptu, not a scheduled meeting, just like conversation happening that I have definitely missed, and I think is kind of important. There's good ideas, and there's things that come up and like issues that get raised when you're kind of casually sitting around eating or hanging out, that I think like maybe wouldn't warrant making a thread on Twist or like scheduling a call and discussing this thing. And some of that stuff is really important, I think.
Yeah. I mean, anytime something gets officially scheduled, it kind of puts a veneer around it of like officialness that kind of like sucks the spontaneity out of it, or the kind of, I don't know, just feels different, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Or like trying to have a lengthy, maybe sensitive conversation over video chat is like, you can do it, but it's not ideal. There's just like a little bit of that latency and a little bit of like that not realness. You're not actually making eye contact with somebody. It's harder to read their body language. There's some things that are challenging to overcome there, I think.
Yeah.
But it's nice to be seeing the guys again. That's the first time we've seen each other in like 7 weeks, I think.
Jeez.
Which is the longest we've gone since we started the company.
Yeah. Wow.
It's like, it's weird. It's like, I mean, we're basically like family now.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wow, I haven't seen my brother in this long, and I haven't seen my co-founders in this long, and like it's like similar. I have similar thought processes around those.
Yeah. I guess I haven't really heard like how are things in Boston? Like, what level of openness are businesses at this point?
Well, just yesterday, Joel got a haircut, so
okay.
Barbershops are open.
Yep.
But everyone's masked, and there's no like, you can't wait in the waiting room. You have to wait outside. There's no walk-ins. You have to have an appointment. They have people spread out. So things are opening. Even the things where there's like multiple people inside a closed location. There's like fairly stringent requirements on all these businesses, and walking around, it's like very close to 100% of people are in masks, even outside. It's opening, but slowly and pretty carefully.
Yeah. It's about the same here.
Mm-hmm. I'm heartened to see people wearing masks.
Yeah.
When I left town to go to my parents about 5 weeks ago, it was like maybe 30% of people or 20% of people. And now it's almost everybody.
Yeah, it takes a while to shift people's habits. And I will admit, like, I struggled hard, even knowing like going into a situation like this is definitely an occasion to be wearing one. Like, I've struggled hard to just change the habit of like always having one on me. Half the time I just leave it hanging by the door, and then I'm like, dang it, I got to figure out how to get one.
Interesting.
So.
That actually has been, my brain has shifted around that pretty fast, where now it feels pretty normal. It's like, okay, keys, wallet, phone, mask. Okay, let's go. And like the social weirdness of it for the first week or so is like, it feels a little bizarre. And now it feels very normal to me.
Yeah.
Humans are good at adaptation. That's one thing I think we're good at.
Yeah.
So, work stuff.
Yeah.
You and I actually are going to start doing some work on Tuple onboarding.
And actually, we haven't even talked about like officially shipping the redesign. I don't think since it went live.
Totally. Yes. Yeah, we shipped the redesign.
It happened.
Yeah, it happened. You and I worked together to basically redo the Tuple UI which it sorely needed. We started with a beta test with just a couple teams, and then we rolled it out to like more open beta where anyone could opt in that wanted to. And just, I think last week, we pushed it out to everybody, and it's now the default. And it's been getting very good reviews.
Oh, good.
Yeah. and like no hate.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's unheard of almost.
I know. I don't think
very
anyone has complained, which is crazy.
No one's saying who moved my cheese,
Yeah. So props to you for that.
Wow. That's pretty cool. Either that or they're just keeping quiet and waiting to unleash on us. But,
right. Yeah. I don't think so. And also you wrote us a killer blog post, which I want to start promoting, and we can do now, which is just tuple.app/blog. You wrote a sort of a deep dive on the redesign and how we went about it and some of the before and afters that I think are really interesting if you're curious about the details.
That was a fun one to put together, because once I started creating the visuals, the kind of the side-by-sides, that's where like it's like, oh yeah, there's quite a bit here to dive into and talk about.
Totally.
Yeah.
And my next item is actually talking about onboarding, and then some of the people on the onboarding were on the old, or actually most of the people on the onboarding calls were on the old UI. And it was funny to me how old it looked. Like how outdated. Like I saw them open it up, I was like, oh, they're on the gross old UI. Wow, why did they do that? It's like, oh yeah, I guess just like a week ago, this wasn't even available to everyone.
Yeah.
So that to me is a good sign.
Yeah. So what's your process been like for you solicited people to basically record their experience, right?
I did, yeah. So I tweeted about this and said, hey, if you're willing to record yourself signing up for Tuple and like dictate your thoughts, I'll throw a discount on your account. And got a good number of takers that turned into about 5 people that actually made it through the funnel, as it were, and sent me a video. And man, it is so useful to watch people use your thing. And I had this sort of thought today, which is kind of like, it's a little bit like new users are kind of archaeologists in that they're seeing this system that built up and changed and evolved over time. And when I look at the system, I understand all these parts and all of the motivations. And they are just seeing the snapshot in time of this thing that has evolved in various ways. And its evolution has not been graceful, I guess, or has not, like it evolves in fits and starts and in various places. And in some places, the domain model is sticking out and obvious. And in some places, it doesn't match what they're expecting. And it's just interesting to see.
Yeah, you're in a unique position when you're running through an app for the first time, because even as just a user, not even a person creating it, but as a user, after using it for a couple of times or for a week or whatever, you just become immediately blind to
yes, totally
to the things.
And we've been with it for forever since at the beginning, and so it's like I can't even see the blind spot. Everything is just a blind spot. I have 2 examples. So one is just like we originally thought Tuple was going to be used by freelancers, and then we were like, oh wait, no, it's going to be used by teams. Let's drop the freelancer support. No, wait, let's put the freelancer support back. And we basically ended up in this situation where there's kind of like 2 modes your team can be in. Like one is like everyone on the team is a paid user because you're all on the team and you want to have full pairing rights, or you're a freelancer and you're the only paid user and everyone you invite should be a guest and unpaid and not be charged for them. But that's okay because only one person on a call needs to be a paid user. And so we have this like toggle during sign up. It's like, are you on a normal team or are you a freelancer? And like we have some explanatory copy, but like no one reads it. And also no one really understands what the implications of choosing one or the other is. And once you've chosen that, you can't go back and change it. And so I saw people in videos be like, oh, I think I picked the wrong one. I'm wondering if this issue that I saw is because I chose this thing back there and I can't go change it. And it's just like this decision that we like made 2 years ago, roughly. And it's still kind of like sticking out, like the apparatus is sticking out into the space.
Well, and that's the kind of friction that you don't really want that ideally on your first step of sign up. Seriously. Where there's like the first choice is like, oh, which one do I make? Am I going to lock myself in? Right.
Totally. Yeah. Any choice during onboarding is kind of bad, I think. Like you want the smoothest funnel possible. And it's like, yeah. And we've done the opposite. Or like the very first thing we do is present them as like A or B. And they're like, well, I don't really understand A versus B. And it's like, great. Well, maybe just don't sign up then.
Yeah.
So I sort of knew this was a problem, but watching every person hit that point and go, was like, oh my God, this has got to be costing us so many signups. Or at least, confusion for people that press through and don't quite understand the implications of the decision they've made.
Yep.
But I think maybe even a better example is It seems so basic. It's amazing. So tuple.app, the root page is a landing page that describes what we make, why we made it, the features, and has this big box up at the top, which is like get started. And there's a email field and a get started button. Everyone saw that and is like, I can't find the call to action. Like, where do I actually sign up? And like they're looking at the login link in the top right and they're scrolling the page. And what I realized is like they are seeing that and seeing it as a newsletter sign up, which totally makes sense because that page originally was a newsletter sign up. It was the thing that we had before you could sign up, or that you could basically use to get on the mailing list. And so it has an email field and a get started button, or like a join the list originally button. And then eventually we're like, okay, let's open this up to the world. And we just connected that action to the new user's new page and pre-filled the email. But that's not how anybody does it. That's what no one is expecting that.
Right.
And so
I was wondering actually, I was meant to ask you this as I started to kind of look at the flow. I was like, this is an interesting trick. I wonder if they found like this is extra effective at getting people to push through to the next step or something.
Yeah. Yeah. It's extra effective in our incompetence. I mean, you can see this is what I mean about the archaeology, right? It's like there was this thing and like in my head this just sort of made sense. Or like it was probably 18 months ago. I was like, what's the shortest path to just letting people sign up for themselves versus me manually inviting them, which is what I used to do. And it was like, oh, let's just connect this to this and then let them go to users new. And it was like, great. And then, we went off and did 10,000 other things. And never did I like watch someone sign up and have them go, I don't see how to sign up. I don't understand. Like, where's the sign up button? And realize, oh, duh, of course, like it looks like a newsletter sign up. That's what it was. And yeah, so it doesn't like trigger that thing in your brain of like, oh, this is the call to action. This is the go button.
Yeah. I thought maybe it was a crafty way to capture email addresses. And then if they dropped off on the next step, you could at least nurture them back or something.
Yes, there was a little bit of that. Like when we made this change, we're like, oh, we can like fire a JavaScript event and save the email and then like maybe catch people if they bail out. So we actually do a little bit of that. Like that is one benefit of that thing there. But that was kind of like we accidentally kind of discovered that. We're like, oh, that's right. We have emails here. That's kind of cool. And we didn't stop and think like, does this make sense to people?
Yeah. And probably worth fixing like even if you have to get rid of that benefit, it'll probably be a net positive if you kind of clear up that confusion and just add a normal sign up button.
I think so. So. I've never watched someone use a thing I made and not learn stuff, or like felt like, okay, there's like 3 immediate things I have to fix, and this is just more another anecdote in that anecdote quiver. But I'm excited. Like it's the feeling I have watching this is like, wow, there's some low hanging fruit here. It's awesome that people have pushed through these confusing points in our onboarding. They must really want this thing, but also like let's fix these ASAP.
Yeah, I was telling you, like, this is, I feel like a sign of just really strong product market fit. It's like you're able to see the kind of results you can see kind of despite maybe the points where there's a lot of inefficiency. And I think when you're in the opposite position, you can see people who are just really good at doing all the right things at all these stages and yet still like struggle to gain traction because like really the biggest driver of traction is probably like getting strong product market fit, and people will put up with a lot of stuff if they're getting the end result that they want ultimately.
Yeah, and so many of our like customers come from word of mouth. So if your friend says you should try this, it's good. Maybe you push through the pain of the sign up process.
Yeah.
I keep having these thoughts of like, man, good software is just so hard. Like a good app, a good SaaS, a good whatever. It's just like it takes so long. There's so many pieces to it. Like there's so many areas of expertise you need to have and tests you need to run and things to implement. And it's like, man, it just takes years and years to make something really good.
It really does. I mean, and I've been doing a lot of building, kind of heads down building, because it hasn't been a great time to like push a bunch of marketing stuff with everything happening in the world. So I've been really heads down, but like just on days where I'm most productive, I just feel so exhausted at the end because it's like I'm making 1,000 little decisions about every little thing. Like, all right, now I need to add a database table. Now I need to like design this new UI. Oh, it's yet another blank canvas. What's this going to look like? How's this going to function? And it's like, it's pretty dang exhausting.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I feel that, and we don't have a blank canvas.
Yeah.
Like just even that chat we had the other day, I said like after lunch, it was just like there's just 100 different ways we could go and decisions we can make that are going to materially affect the business and our happiness and quality of life. And it's just decision after decision, and it's pretty challenging. It's very draining.
Yeah.
But yeah, someday I think we're gonna have some good software. No, it's good. I'm excited to just keep improving it. It's yeah.
Yeah. And that's part of why doing these tuple projects is fun for me, because I know that, I can look at something and spot a bunch of ways to improve it. And I also know, like, this thing has been really successful. So what more can this do, if we optimize this page? And that's motivating to know that, like, this can be potentially high impact on something that is already performing really well,
Cool. Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
I'm glad that is present there. And yeah, that's what gets me excited too, is like the idea of like working with people that I like and that are awesome, and like improving this thing steadily, and like shipping things that make people happy. It's just like that's the fun part to me. I get excited for releasing things and having people go, "Oh, this is great! Like, keep it up. This is really, you're doing a great job." I'm like, all right, thank you, I love it. That's what gives me the warm fuzzies. So I wanted to ask you a question. Actually, we've been doing some like roadmap planning. So the next quarter starts in a few weeks, and we're trying to think of like, okay, what are the big pieces? What are the big things we want to do next quarter? And I wanted to see, did you have a process that you liked for this in Drip?
So generally we wouldn't plan, like, it was ambitious if we tried to actually plan a whole quarter. Probably every product is a little different on kind of cadence and cycles and how much work you're able to really plan out. But we would, like, for the most part, it was like every 2 to 4 weeks, Rob and I would sit down and kind of reevaluate priorities, because things would just end up kind of shifting out from under us. Even the best we tried to like lay out, like, this is what our priorities are for the next 2 weeks, always new information coming in. So I don't know, it probably depends on how like volatile your priority list feels like, as opposed to like, all right, we kind of have a good handle on what we need to do, and these projects are going to take longer. I think for us, for a lot of the time, it felt pretty volatile, with the exception of like bigger projects like building workflows. I mean, that was a 3-month long, process to MVP. So our general like approach was to kind of sit down every 2 to 4 weeks and sync up on like what work is in flight, what's been done recently, and are we on the right track still?
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Were you good about like making a decision and then just like sticking to it and shipping that thing, not like getting pulled into other stuff?
Generally, yeah. Like we really tried to. The only way we could make that palatable is by keeping the cycles pretty tight. Kind of the 6-week cadence from Basecamp would have been like, I like that ideally, but that would have been really tough, I think, for a lot of the course of Drip. That's so long,
Yeah. And I think if you're like 50 people and have these independent teams working with like, a team that has 2 developers and a designer on it, and you have multiple teams like that, maybe those longer cadences are fine.
Yeah, yeah.
But like we sometimes will be like, let's try to do these things. And then it's like, okay, there's a giant sales deal that hinges on us building this. We should build this.
Yeah, like an unfair advantage you have at being small is you can be a bit more nimble, than having to lock into the 6-week cadence.
Right, exactly. And like it impresses people when you ship things quickly or address their concerns. And I would have trouble, I think, committing to longer stretches like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But at the same time, 6 weeks is an awesome chunk of time to make a really substantial dent in something important, right? And so I want to be doing that too.
Right.
Because some of these projects in our heads or backlog are like, okay, we know this part of the app really needs a rewrite or like a big overhaul, but it's a big project, but it's also really important. And so it's hard to like muster up the energy or to like commit to like, okay, I'm not going to interrupt you for the next long period of time because it's worth getting this thing moved forward. But that's what I'm hoping to do during like the road mapping is like, okay, let's pick like 1 or 2 of those things and make sure we have time for them in the quarter, because at the end of the year, we have to move a number of these large projects forward. Otherwise, we've not made the substantial progress that we need.
Yep. Well, to use workflows as an example, that was a big long project, and it wasn't really something that could easily be chopped up into little pieces. It was just, we got to build this giant new subsystem that has a brand new UI and everything. So like that one had to be on a longer cadence cycle, but we couldn't shift all our resources toward that and not do anything else. So we sort of kind of, I think, had that on its own track and tried to make sure we were making progress to get it done by our kind of deadline that we set for it. But then also had kind of a parallel tighter cycle planning for the smaller stuff, and would just need to fit that in. So,
And you had other people doing that?
I led most of the development on the initial workflow stuff, and then our other developers were working on shorter term things. But I think I was also involved. Like I would sometimes do like, spend Friday working on smaller things, and so maybe work on workflows for the first 4 days, and then spend a day just kind of tying up loose ends on other stuff.
Do you remember how many engineers you had at like a few million ARR?
There was probably like 4 engineers. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And you were doing design too, so you didn't have a separate designer.
Right. Yeah, we didn't have a designer until post-acquisition.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Our consensus is that we're like a little understaffed at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We've had like a lot of growth, and there's a lot of things we want to do, and we could use some more hands. Very excited to have Mikey joining soon, but there also may be more hires in the pipeline.
For Mac or for web or for what do you think your next hire looks like?
we're always thinking about it. Like Linux is very commonly requested, so we're always like kind of kicking that idea around. Like, do we start now? Is this the time? Do we start and kind of like chip away at it? Do we hire a full-time person to just do that? We go back and forth on it, and I think actually that's going to be kind of a big topic of the next sort of planning session as we talk about the next quarter or the next couple quarters. There's a future where it's like we just say like Tuple is a Mac OS app. It's like clearly there's a ton of Mac OS developers. We can build a very healthy business on Mac OS. We don't ever have to have this client in any other operating system, I think, and to like have a very nice little company and be plenty profitable and have a good time. But our customers want it, and we like making our customers happy, and we could be address more of the market and have more developers and make more. So that's like there's like it kind of almost comes down to like philosophical desires. It's like technically, surely, we can do this. We know we can eventually make this happen. But do we want that reality? What do we value?
Yeah, there's something to be said for being able to relentlessly like focus on making the best Mac client that you can, and probably I would say you kind of have a deep moat already. But if someone were to come in and try to say like, we do all the platforms and we're going to compete head on with Tuple, how can they really get the same level of quality if they're dividing their efforts across, multiple platforms? Like,
yep. Yeah, I think that would be challenging. That's a key trade-off there is like, we can go faster if we just have one client. Adding more operating systems is an explosion of complexity. And so it slows down the development of all of the clients.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a tricky one.
It's a pretty big decision.
It is. That's one of the ones that I think we like bat back and forth all the time. That's not even talking about like, oh, what about Windows 2? What about like streaming to a web browser? All this stuff. There's a lot of options out there. And one of the things I keep coming back to is like I look at our growth and I look at our financial performance. It's like we're growing rapidly. Things are going really well. The market just got tremendously bigger. So like I already thought Mac OS was like a plenty big market, and now it's much, much, much bigger and getting bigger all the time, I think. So it's like, well, the current thing is working. Do we risk doing these risky things? Do we take on these things that are potentially have significant downside for significant upside?
Yeah, and how do you go about like de-risking that decision? Like, is there something you can do to get more information to know like just how risky will this be? Like endeavoring to replicate the client for Linux,
Right. Yeah, that is a big question. Like, how hard is it technically? But then also like, will it make a difference in people buying?
Yes. Will it be worth it? Because now you'll have, another track of support, another track of quirks and bugs and potential issues someone might run into with that client.
And Linux is a fractured ecosystem, right?
Yeah.
Like Linux is not a thing. It's a series of distributions.
Right. It's more of an idea.
Exactly. And so it's like we can test Tuple on like we restrict the last, I think, 3 versions of Mac OS at this point. And then like there's just not that much, there's only a certain number of Mac hardware options, right? There's like MacBooks and Mac Pros and iMacs, and that's basically it. And so it's like we can effectively test everything if we wanted to, every combination. But if you say like now we support Linux, it's like, well, there's all these distributions, there's all this hardware, and there's more distributions coming, and the distributions are changing over time, and it's sounds like a lot of complexity.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
I think initially our ambitions were pretty modest, and they, I think, have grown a bit. And so, like, how much, and will we like our lives and our company if we keep adding these challenging things?
Yeah.
Like, which slogs do we want?
Challenges are fun, and that's where value is created in businesses, by like taking on like a meaty challenge and actually solving it. But yeah, the question is like, will this turn into a nightmare of maintenance that you maybe would regret down the line? You know,
I don't know. But then again, if we've got the budget to like hire a Linux person and then like a Linux people, and like there's a Linux team lead with a couple people on that team, and that's just like, you know, someone, this is what businesses do, right? Like, you take on a problem and then you have people solve it, and then they're responsible for doing the parts that they need to do. And so it could just be like a division of Tuple is, you know, the Linux client, and that doesn't seem crazy to me.
Right. Yeah. No, that's very true.
So I don't know. More debate on this, I expect, in the future.
Yeah. Yeah. Good things, though. Good things to ponder. I mean, it's a good problem to have, as they say.
For sure. And having the ability to hire, like having the revenue and the profit to be able to like, okay, we can pay engineers to do things is quite a luxury. That's really nice.
Yeah, no, it really is. Yeah.
I think that's like a mindset we have to get ourselves out of. It's for so long, it's been like, okay, are we going to do X? Because if we are, one of us is going to do it. Mm-hmm. It's like, who has the time to do this thing? And now it's like, are we going to do X? Because we could hire a person to do X, or maybe even a team to do X. It's like, oh, okay, well, that's a very different story.
Mm-hmm. Get out of that kind of scarcity mindset. Yep.
Yeah. And it's like, when I think about doing something, it's like, well, what's my personal level of overwhelm at the moment? Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, maybe it doesn't matter, because you won't actually be doing that. You're going to try to find someone to do that who will do it better than you will.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's different.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that's a lot about Tuple.
Well, I think that's a good place to wrap it. I was going to maybe talk about some stuff this episode, but I'll give myself one more week to.
All right. Give himself a 1 week reprieve.
Get my act together, and
all right.
And then I'll have a nice
Sounds
meaty
good.
update next week.
Okay, so that works for me.
Cool.
All right, notes for the show.
Notes for the show can be found at artofproductpodcast.com.
Thanks for listening.
See ya.